Hi, my name is Michaela Munda, and I've been doing a departmental honors project in history. My topic has been on Samuel Huntington. He's a political scientist. He worked for many years through the US government and Harvard, so many books and articles that he's written, but his most famous and one that he's probably most well known for is The Clash of Civilizations and the Remaking of World Order, based off of an article he published in 1993. And so in this book, he describes, okay, here's the reality of the world stage after the fall of the Soviet Union. Here are the values that we hold true in the West and in America, and so therefore, how should we proceed forward with that? And he offers suggestions as to what should happen. And so he outlines the world by general cultures and then creating large civilizations as he defines them. So Western Orthodox, Latin America, Middle East or Islam. He says Eastern, but he means Asia, and Japan and Africa. So within listing all of these, his idea is that clashes of civilizations are going to be the forefront of conflict now in the new era. And in order to combat this, he suggests that we need to unite within our civilizations. So for the West, that means going back, and specifically America, to our Anglo-Saxon Protestant roots. Particularly in the West, he anticipated that there would be a clash between Islam in the West, China in the West, and he anticipated issues with immigration within finding civilizational unity. So Samuel Huntington's ideas are not necessarily looked upon favorably in the present. And that has kind of shifted, where it was maybe it was a mix of people that contested him and not. That's something that has changed, because now it's more so to the contested and unfavorable side. And that is because his ideas have been used within Trump and conservative ideology. And so that also asks the question, well, does it just align? Was it for conservative ideology? Or is it something that's kind of been taken? And the answer is both, because as you read his suggestions and what he says, particularly about immigration and his concerns about immigration and how he's against multiculturalism, that does seem true. That is familiar. And yet that's not the purpose of what he was writing for, which goes to show that we are moving, we are changing what it means to be a Democrat in the 90s, and even before that, the kind of Democrat that he was a dying breed at the time, and now you can see that is dead, because that kind of Democrat doesn't actually exist anymore in the way that he talks about issues and his suggestions. Huntington is not describing conservative values, he is describing American values. The things that he's saying aren't new. The values that he is using to suggest are ones that are very present and are still obviously present to an extent. But it also shows how it's in the forefront of our minds, this kind of conflict politically. And it's really just goes to show that we are reassessing our values. The values that were set at Huntington's time are, yes, there's some that are still here and people that still defend those. And there are also just as many, if not more, people that are against those and contesting those and understand, what does it mean to be American? Where do we set our values? Do we need to deconstruct and decolonize? Have we already done that? Do we need to maintain that? Do we need to keep these values? We're reassessing what that means and what that looks like. And you see that across a spectrum, politically and culturally, socially within the United States. Looking at Huntington, it goes to show that when you put an idea into the world and it's received, good or bad, you have no control over the level of reception, how it's received, what's going to happen with that reception, what's the impact. So that's kind of in short what I've been working on. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of information I've gathered over this past year. So I would love if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts or comments, I'm super open to them. And I also want to thank my advisor for this project, Nurit Zamora, and I want to thank Hamline for this opportunity. Thank you.